A New Hampshire man is in an entire world of trouble after he was caught having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl. According to a police report, everything started to really unravel, come apart, and come into light on April 29th when Beebe School District said that a 14-year-old girl did not get on a bus to go to school and she did not arrive for any of her classes that day. The guardian of the girl was pretty concerned that the girl might have been picked up by a 49-year-old relative. Now, the 49-year-old is a relative of the guardian, but a step relative of the 14-year-old girl. That's kind of confusing, I know. But the 49-year-old was confronted by the guardians of the 14-year-old when they noticed that there was a bit of a relationship that seemed to be forming between the two of them. The actions of the 49-year-old, whose name is Thomas Jordan, really threw off some alarm bells. He did things like give this 14-year-old victim $250. He gave her different digital devices that she used to communicate with him. So police were able to obtain a phone number for the 14-year-old victim. They called her and were able to make contact, and she let them know that she was at a location known as Romance Bluffs. So the school resource officer panel, along with the junior high principal, went to Romance Bluffs and picked up the 14-year-old victim. They then took her to the White County Sheriff's Department where she could be interviewed by detectives. And a lot of information came out of that interview with detectives. They were able to find out that this girl did admit to being involved in a sexual relationship with Thomas Jordan. She said that they had sex on several occasions, at least two of them being at her home in White County, Arkansas. The victim told police that Thomas Jordan had purchased several clothing items for her. He had sent her $250. He bought her several electronic devices. According to the victim, the relationship between the victim and Thomas Jordan actually started in the state of New York when he took her there on a trip. They went on the trip, they got matching tattoos, and a sexual relationship came from that in March 2024. The victim told police that Thomas Jordan did pick her up on that day. He picked her up from her home where she was supposed to be getting on the school bus. She asked Thomas Jordan, begged him to take her back to New Hampshire with him. He said no, and I kind of want to use the word dumped. He dumped her off at Romance Bluffs. The guardians of the victim in this case brought the electronic devices that Thomas Jordan had given her to the police department and then signed for those to be forensically gone through. They were able to go through those devices and they found a lot. They found a lot. They found explicit videos of the victim and Thomas Jordan engaging in certain sex acts. They found messages that were exchanged between the two of them that were sexual in nature. And I don't think that I can say this enough. This is a 14-year-old. I don't care if she did want to go back with him to New Hampshire. She was also being groomed. Very clearly being groomed. He was buying her all the stuff. He was sending her money, of course, a 14-year-old, that's going to be wow, in their minds. That's grooming. So Thomas Jordan was arrested. He's being held in the White County Detention Center at this time on charges of internet stalking of a child and trafficking of persons. He has a bond of $500,000, and I think part of the reason for that is because he put in his indigency paperwork trying to get a public defender that prior to being arrested in Arkansas, it looks like he actually was working at a job getting paid $150,000 a year. So it seems like maybe he has had access to money, and they're trying to keep him put, I think, for right now, because they are afraid that he will flee the state. I didn't read anything that tells me this just explicitly, but I kind of wonder if they didn't have relations in another state, if they did, and maybe even if they didn't, but if the intention was that they were going to, it's highly probable, in my opinion, that there will be a federal indictment come up against Thomas Jordan. So I would definitely be looking for that.